Harvard professor claims that Americans have gotten hysterical over nut allergies after Time magazine reported that a school bus full of children was evacuated after a lone peanut was found on the floor. Really? You have to be a Harvard professor to figure out that that's getting out of control? The New York Times reports that squirrel meat is all the rage in the UK because it is both local and affordable. Yeah, because we're supposed to trust anything the British have to say about food. In international news, Tokyo's famed Tsukiji fish market will reopen to tourists beginning in January of this year. Tourists had been banned from the market beginning in December of last year for inappropriate behavior towards the fish, including hugging, straddling, and licking. One particularly loud tourist was even overheard shouting, "Let's hug it out, you little fish." This is food news.
Why molecular?
I mean, I didn't pick that word.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't pick that word.
It got foisted upon you?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that's a term, molecular gastronomy is a term coined by a scientist to describe the work that scientists were doing in an effort to understand what's happening to a souffle as it rises or an egg as it boils. We are not scientists, nor do we pretend to be.
But you also have expanded, after a stroll through your kitchen, the lexicon of ingredients. Why those things that people would consider additives?
Okay. How long have you had gelatin in your kitchen?
Well, gelatin, good gelatin, the gelatin I make, comes off of a bone.
Pectin? How do you feel about pectin?
I don't use it. I don't use it. My jellies are all autoimmune.
Sodium chloride?
Salt?
Yeah, that's an additive.
Well, on that basis, you could say everything's an additive. That's different than
flavor enhancer, an additive, a chemical. You can give
we
it all
talking
sorts.
MSG here?
No, salt. We're talking about salt. We are only adding things to create an effect that we otherwise couldn't get. For instance, this gel here, the texture of this gel, it's made from roasted beets pureed with pomegranate juice.
Yeah.
And then there's a type of gum called gellan gum added to it. And the texture that is there wouldn't be achievable with another product.
Can we?
Yeah, sure.
Now, why would you say this texture is distinct from the texture of fruit gums that they make in the south of France?
I think those are a bit sweeter.
They don't have to be. They just happen to be sweet because that's the way they're made.
Well, it doesn't. The sugar is actually serving a function in terms of creating the texture.
When I cook those, I add very little sugar to them. And they gel.
Well, certainly, you're pulling out the pectin. I couldn't make that from pomegranates and beets.
Well, beets have sugar, right?
Yeah,
they do have
certainly
a lot of
have sugar. Yeah, absolutely.
Pomegranate has a lot of acid.
Correct.
Right? And pectin.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually. So, I'm not about to run home and try. Is it better than it would be made in a more traditional way?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Does it taste better?
Does it schmeck gut?
We didn't change the flavors.
Of course you did.
We didn't change the way the sweet potato, the mint, the beet, and the pomegranate taste.
I eat with my fingers.
I love that. That's a pickled sweet potato.
I know her. I actually don't like that.
Fair enough.
But I'm
Taste
saying
is subjective, which is what's beautiful.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that there is more concept in that sweet potato than there is gratification except intellectually. I'm not against intellectual gratification.
I mean, we don't have anything that you've prepared that I can sort of lay
Next time.
my personal opinions or claims on. I mean, just because you don't like, I mean, that's fair. I can't look someone in the eye who's tasted something I've made and said that they don't like it. I can't look them in the eye and say you're wrong.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say,
I think it tastes good. I wouldn't put my good name on it if I thought it was disgusting.
Oh, I didn't say disgusting. Let's not get bitchy. No. What I meant was when does one cross the line between the experiment, the searching, and the final result in terms of pleasure?
I think that there's something akin to peanut butter and jelly. These are peanut-crusted sweetbreads. There's very much sort of a nostalgic, childlike peanut butter and jelly reference that I get.
I like that
from the way these two things interact. There's a textural crunch.
This is a reference to chocolate sauce for the milk.
That's mint. I think it gives it a lightness in a way. It's just pureed mint, a little bit of glucose, and some xanthan gum, which I probably shouldn't have told you about, but.
I mean, I think the mint is terrific. I think the texture is terrific. I question whether one would need the xanthan gum to get to this stage, but perhaps one would. My temptation would be to go to a super congealed veal gelatin.
I wouldn't want the flavor that the veal might impart in this particular example.
You balked at the word additive. And it's because people generally consider chemicals, additives, bad things.
Sure.
Of course, everything is made out of chemicals. I mean, we know this.
I don't have a problem with a lot of these products. The ones that I don't use are the ones that I'm not comfortable with. See, we didn't fight.
I don't fight. I dispute.
How to clean round fish. Fresh fish with clear eyes, firm flesh, bright gills. First, make sure all the guts are out. Your fishmonger will usually do this for you, but in case you find yourself in this situation, slice open the belly and pull everything out. Make sure your garbage goes out to the curb that night. Now go ahead and snip off all the sharp fins and go and make your first cut behind the gills towards the head. It makes things a lot easier if you just go ahead and lop the head off altogether. Just make sure to save it for stock. Back to the fillet, just make nice long slices down over the spine. Make sure to angle the knife up a little bit so you don't lose any flesh at the top of the fish. For the other side, just slice the spine and tail out from under the fillet. Once the fillets are loose, use your knife to cut the belly bones away from the rest of the flesh. Make sure you've rinsed all the blood and goo off your fish bits and now you're ready to cook.
Welcome to Coffee Break, tips for brewing better coffee. One of the best ways to enjoy a good cup of coffee is from a French press. Now, it's not an exact science, but there are things that you can do to make a better cup of joe. Well, first, you have to watch your boiling point. Coffee and water fuse best at around 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So once you've seen the water's boiled, let it sit and cool off just a little bit. Use a teaspoon of coarse ground beans for every cup of coffee you're aiming to make. Don't forget to stir and let the water and coffee fuse for about 3 to 4 minutes before you press. I'm Ron Moreno for Devour TV. Hope you enjoyed your coffee break.